On a foggy night in coastal Maine, Nathaniel picks up a hitchhiker, a pretty young lady all alone. As he becomes enchanted with her, he finds that her connection to the sea runs much too deep. I knew that I shouldn't have stopped the second she got into my car. It was some kind of evolutionary thing, some part of my lizard brain telling me I'd made a mistake, but I brushed it off. Seeing a beautiful young woman hitchhiking along a deserted highway in the middle of coastal Maine at midnight would probably cause most men to at least consider stopping. After all, I certainly wouldn't want to be in her position. And that desperate, pitiful look on her face, those eyes pleading with me to stop, like her life was in danger. Well, what else could I do? I reached across to the passenger side door and popped it open. The thick soup fog coming in from the water poured into my car, and at first, I didn't even see her. Then she stepped out of the dense mist, a feminine form lithe and swaying, a face as gentle as the still sea, and eyes as blue as the deep waves. Behind her, the road ended in a rocky crag that led down to the ocean where the lobster boats moored overnight and bobbed with the water. "Thank you," she said simply, and she slipped into the passenger seat. Her voice hummed with a resonance that reminded me of the bouncing of sound waves underwater, a sort of sing-song quality that jarred with her circumstances. "Yeah, no problem," I said, as I carefully pulled the car back onto the highway and back into the fog. "Are you all right? Out here all alone at night, it seems dangerous." She looked at me with eyes full of wonder. The fog clung to her jacket and pants and hair. Keeping my eyes on the road, I reached back and grabbed the towel I always kept in my car and handed it to her. "It's clean. You can dry yourself off." She looked down at the towel and turned it over, examining it carefully. Then she rubbed it awkwardly on her hair and clothes. "Thank you," she repeated. "I am in no danger." "Oh," I replied. "It's just, I saw your face, and you looked like you were scared, and you're in the middle of rural Maine at midnight in the fog. Are you lost or something?" She touched the dashboard and gently raised her eyebrows, then ran her hand over the button for the glove compartment. She turned and looked around the entire car as if she were fascinated. "Lost?" she echoed. "I suppose I am lost in the way that you mean it, but I am never far from home." "Home?" I asked. "Where are you from, and where are you heading? I can take you to safety, no problem." "Home," she repeated, and looked out the window towards the sea. "Such a strange concept, isn't it? One person's home is another person's lost." Trying to make sense of her bizarre words, I just kept driving. My goal was the coastal town of Cutler, my own home, and I wanted to get there before sunrise so I could get right into bed and drift into a deep sleep. My headlights strained against the fog. The light beams were hitting it here and there, bouncing off the mist particles and creating a warped view of reality. I had to drive slowly just to see the road markings. Somewhere to the right, somewhere out at sea, a ship's horn blasted slow and low, and the sound distorted in the night fog so that it sounded like the bellow of some great sea beast, some gargantuan monster never before seen by humans. I wanted to at least find out who she was and where she was going, so I pushed the conversation. "I'm Nathaniel. I'm from Cutler. What's your name, if you don't mind me asking?" She turned from the window to look at me, and the beauty of her face and blue eyes overwhelmed me. I felt a sad longing well up from my belly and into my heart. It felt like I had wasted my life up until then simply because I had not known her. I felt beholden to her, enchanted, the way a schoolboy feels at his first taste of lovesick infatuation with a girl. "I do not mind," sang her silken voice. "You can call me Callie." "Callie," I reiterated. "That's a nice name. Where are you heading, Callie? Where can I take you?" She looked out the window again as she spoke. "Where? I'm going to a town, I suppose. Where did you say you're going?" "Cutler. It's a couple of hours ahead since I have to drive so slow in the fog."
"Cutler," she said. "Yes, I'm going to Cutler."
It was obvious from the ambiguity in her voice that she had no idea where Cutler was. She was only repeating what I said. What was her story? I wanted to know more. "All right, then we're both going to Cutler," I said. "It's none of my business, I know, but I'm curious what a young lady would be doing out on a deserted highway at midnight. Are you all right? Are you sure you're safe?" She placed her hand on my arm, her cool skin pressing onto mine. I felt overwhelmed by longing and satisfaction, fearful that I would ever have to leave her, and also tingling with a sense of danger and dread.
"Up there," she said,
pointing toward the windshield as if she could see something in the fog that I could not. All I could see was the white blanket of soup and the highway's center line.
"Stop there, by the path."
"What? The path? Callie, listen, it's late and the fog makes it really dangerous to drive. I really don't think it's safe to—" She interrupted me by touching my cheek with her smooth, soft hand. I felt overwhelmed by a warm peace, as if a gentle ocean summer swell had rolled onto my cheek and caressed me. The scent of the salty sea filled the car, and I, a man who had grown up on the coast, felt like a child again.
"Just there," she said and pointed.
I carefully pulled the car to the side of the road and parked it on a little extended shoulder just large enough to accommodate it safely. She already owned me, my heart and mind. I watched her slip out of the car, walk around to my side, open the door and take my hand. I would have followed her anywhere. I stepped out into the cool, wet fog.
"There's a path just there," she said.
She led me to the cliff's edge so that I thought we would simply fall over into the sea below, and I didn't mind as long as I was with her. A path appeared, a narrow, rocky footpath that sloped down to the sea. She turned back to me and smiled, then leaned in and kissed my lips. A bewitching haze of love and obsession and desire coated my entire being. I wanted to have her, to be had by her, to be owned by this strange woman I had just met. She led me down the footpath to the pebbly shore. The rhythmic lapping and sighing of the gentle waves lulled me into a waking sleep. The damp, salty aroma entered my nostrils and spoke of fish and kelp and crabs and oysters and deep, deep secrets in the darkness of the ocean floor. She let go of my hand and slid out of her clothes. Despite the chill of the night, she didn't flinch. Bare, she stepped partly into the water so that it was just past her ankles.
"Come," she said. "Come and let us bathe together."
Though overwhelmed by desire and love, a small part of my brain knew that the water was freezing and dangerous. Sharks fed at this hour, and the undertow in the area was famous for sucking people out to their wet graves. I strained through the haze to shake my head no, to try to put into words my hesitation. The briefest flash of anger ran through her blue eyes, then disappeared again. But it was enough to bring me back to my senses. I can't," I said. "It's too dangerous." She waded a little deeper, just up to her hips.
"Then stay there, and let me sing to you, my love," she said,
and again her liquid voice overwhelmed my reason.
"Let me serenade you with the sweet songs of love, and then we shall be together."
I couldn't speak or move, but only stared at her glorious, bare torso just above the slow waves. I wanted her to sing. I wanted to hear her voice of honey rise to heights of music and passion. Callie sang. She sang a song of old rhymes and sailors and ships, a song of lost worlds and wars and loves and kings and queens, of ancient tales forgotten long ago. Her voice bathed me in a peace and love and desire greater than I'd ever known. I saw her not as a stranger, a hitchhiker, but as a goddess, my goddess, and I wanted nothing more than to fuse into her like a male anglerfish and live forever as a part of her, as her. I was unable to resist. I waded into the sea towards her. The water was icy, but I didn't even feel it. No, I felt a loving warmth instead. A warmth and an unscratchable itch in my soul. I reached my hands out to her, and as she continued singing, she backed up a little deeper into the water. I followed, and still deeper she waded, until the water was up to her delicate neck and up to my chest. I followed still, and the water began to lap up over my face. In an instant, I would be underwater. Some sliver of reason deep in my brain panicked and told me that I was going to drown, but Callie's sweet lyrics and tones drowned that reason in enchantment. I now do not know if it was pure chance, or if the fellow mammal understood what was happening and saved me, but a dolphin breached the ocean's surface and slapped the water with its tail just in front of my face. It broke the trance, and I quickly realized that I was going to die. I desperately tried to swim backwards to the shallows. Callie's face morphed into something long and bony, something with green scales and furious red eyes. She opened her mouth even wider, and through long, sharp teeth, her song changed from sweet seduction to a piercing shriek of fury. My ears hurt, but I couldn't cover them because I was swimming for my life. She screamed her rage, and I felt warm blood trickling from my ears. I felt my shoes plant themselves firmly in the shallows, and soon I was trotting backwards toward the shore. Callie saw that I was escaping. She plunged beneath the water, and I knew that she was swimming towards me. I was still thigh deep, so I couldn't move fast. I pushed my muscles as hard as I could, but the sea grasped at them and slowed me. Then, I felt an icy, slimy, scaly hand on my calves. I panicked and looked down. Shimmering beneath the dark water was a long form with the flowing hair and torso of Callie, but the bottom half of a fish. She pulled, and I slid down on my back. I felt her pulling me back towards the deep. I craned my neck up to keep my mouth and nose above water as long as I could, but she was too strong. My head was about to go under, and I screamed. "Help me, please!" was all my mind could muster, though I knew no one was anywhere near us. Whatever gods may be, whether Poseidon or any other, must have heard my cry that night. I saw the dolphin's dorsal fin break through the water, racing towards us. In the dim night, I scarcely made out the aquatic mammal's body undulating through the water impossibly fast, and then his head and nose slammed into Callie's side. She bent from the blow and released her grip on my calves. That was enough for me. The dread and terror in my stomach compelled me, and I stepped backwards until I was only ankle deep, and then I was on dry land. I turned and ran, sprinted as fast as I could in my exhaustion. I scrambled back up the footpath onto the road. Just before I got into my car, I took a final look over to the sea. In the dark, rolling waves, I saw the dolphin's dorsal fin heading back out to sea. I never saw Callie again, thank the gods, and to this day, I know with certainty that I had met a siren and had only escaped alive because of the kindness of a dolphin.